All right, everyone, welcome here to a live Scrimcast. We once again have Donkey Kong and Hex going to be duking it out here with Donkey Kong on the Legion side and Hex on the Hellborn side. This is game number one. Going to be joined once again by a co-caster, Mr. BKB and Chill. How's it going, man?
It's going good, man. Thank you for asking. It's a very cold evening in England, ready to cast some Heroes of New Earth, and yeah, looking forward to seeing how these two teams perform.
I'm expecting to see a lot of, like you pointed out, I think it was 2 days ago we got to do a cast most recently. The teams kind of just still trying to figure out like what works and testing out stuff, right? Because we've been on this new patch for about a month now, but we haven't had a whole lot of tournament action. So I think the teams will still be kind of seeing what works and what doesn't work, and just hopefully trying out some new heroes and item builds and all that kind of stuff. Do you kind of agree with that, or you think anybody's
Yeah,
gonna kind of throw us with some curveballs
um,
today and pick some off the wall strategies?
I think if you're going to see players like Platycris, Dude, Asaf, and Probusk, I think you're always going to see some interesting heroes because I know these players do like to kind of mix things up quite a lot. I'm quite excited to see how Platycris fits into the lineup with four,
Hmm.
because I don't believe the last scrims that we casted, those two did play together. So that's going to be quite interesting to see how those guys synergize. And yeah, kind of, I'm sure you're going to go into the bands in a second, but I think, some of the bands are quite interesting. And yeah, let's hope that we see some interesting picks and we can see something a bit different to what we're kind of used to.
Yep, I like the point that you bring up. They have Chris today, so they had a ringer on the side of Hex, I believe, a couple of days ago. So this might be their actual full roster. At least that's what I'm expecting. So we have both teams here today with their full roster. So pretty important to point out. The bans, we got Kinesis, Lord Sulfuris, and Swiftblade from Legion's side. Then we have Bensington, Ophelia, and Electrician coming out from Hellborn's side. What do you think about the bans?
The bands are interesting. I mean, the ones that stand out to me are Sir Bendington, Lord Forest, and
Hmm.
Swiftblade. The reason why Bensington stands out to me because Bensington is not a hero you tend to class as being incredibly strong. I think what makes him a threat is his global presence combined with other heroes. So you look at like past cycles and tournaments, we've seen it synergize with heroes such as Pharaoh, Cthulhu Fun, Pebbles, these really solid initiating tanky heroes that can set up very, very quickly. And Bensington will jump into that team fight. So I think with regards to that ban and Snooki choosing to ban it against Donkey Kong, that comes from their ability to play it really strongly with Slasky on the hero, and he played it a couple of days ago. So that would be my opinion for that particular hero. Lord Sappho Swift Blade, generally very, very good heroes. Swift Blade did receive a change to his counter attack, so that is now activatable, which makes him quite a useful threat against heroes that do physical damage. Um, and yeah, Electrician, Ophelia, very, very strong heroes. We've seen them a lot in the past. Can easily be utilized as very solid ganking heroes that can easily take over games quite quickly. And yeah, I'll let you go into the first few picks.
Okay, so we got Aluna, the first pick of the match here for Legion. So Hellborn gets two follow-up picks. They pick up the Calamity and the Empath, so both teams showing us support. And the final two picks of the first pick wave will be Pebbles and Andromeda. So they got a pair of supports with their more likely than not mid laner in the Pebbles. Um, so what do you think about the picks so far? I mean, the one that stands out to me, I think, is the Calamity pick. Calamity still could be, classified as one of the strongest heroes in the game right now. So she makes it through the first wave of bans.
I think Calamity definitely stands out to me too because, as you say, she's got such a unique skill set with so much potential. I think she really has a kind of period in the game where she really takes off, which is that kind of like 25 to 35 minute period of gameplay where she just seems to dominate, dominate the team fights with the ultimate and has put the skill set. But looking at Legion's picks, I like how they have picked up Andromeda and Aluna with the Pebbles because that kind of screams out to me they're going to be dual laning Pebbles, which I think is incredibly strong. I think prioritizing the farm on the Pebbles, especially since it's nerf and its harass potential being reduced, it has more ability to kind of focus on, getting the quick portal key, going into, setting up team fights, ganks, initiations with that item, and then looking to kind of transition the momentum into their favor. And then obviously when you have like an Luna on top of that, which I imagine will be in the short lane as a support, that is something that gives them that kind of added credibility to making sure the short farm picks up some solid farm in the early game stages. So it kind of gives off the impression they're going to be suiciding a particular hero. Not sure what it is going to be yet. But I like the fact they picked up two supports, one slightly more offensive, one more defensive. But I like how it kind of works, especially with the Pebbles, which is probably going to be mid lane.
Yeah, good points. I like your analysis there. We're gonna have the second banning phase already taken care of. We got Puppet Master, Kronos, and Cthulhu Font. Um, Puppet Master kind of in the same boat as Calamity, kind of due to those recent buffs in the Elder Parasite change. I'm actually a little surprised we see Puppet Master kind of make it this far. I guess nobody wants to really try him out as they kind of know how he works quite well. But the Kronos and the Cthulhu Font bans, I think Busk is known for playing Kronos back in the days. So they don't want to deal with that with their Calamity being a very unmobile hero, I suppose. The Cthulhu font ban, as well as they are kind of lacking that offlaner, which you kind of pointed out. Their general strategy might be a dual mid with a dual short kind of setup so far. So I like the bans coming out from Zanuki. We see Draconis, Tremble, and Gemini. These are mostly targeted at Fa, and the Draconis ban, I believe, targeted at Zanuki as the Calamity can be played by Chris as well. They have a couple of Calamity players on the side of Hellborn, so that is not necessarily a mid Calamity. It could also be a short lane Calamity very easily. So still not sure where we're going to see that Calamity go just yet. So that will cover the bans. We have Monarch and Lodestone picked up here by Hex. So they pick up another hard support. They're actually running two hard support heroes. And it looks like they'll probably be trying to get, I think the secondary support will be the Empath this game, some kind of utility farm on him. Perhaps pick up something like a Staff of the Master. Maybe we'll see even a another core here with a staff effect picked up on the final pick, something that they can utilize a free staff effect on. We'll see if that uh, does become a thing, because it will also still be kind of hard for Empath to farm up a staff on a secondary support role. We'll keep an eye on that. We see the was it the Bramble and the Artillery pick coming out here for Donkey Kong, and you know what? I think that's going to be a Slaske Artillery. He's been practicing this hero in TMM quite a lot. I actually think they're going to put Probusk on the Pebbles this game, as he is kind of known for playing a Pebbles in the past. So I think they're going to try out Slaske here on the carry and throw Busk on the mid lane this game, kind of switch it up a bit, as the players are pretty flexible in terms of roles, as we know. The final pick will be Predator, coming out from Hex. So what do you think about the Predator pick on the final pick there, combating the
The
artillery carry?
the Predator pick is interesting. I think it does have a lot of potential in this game. As you say, it gives a lot of counter to artillery with the extra armor boost from his stone hide. I
Hmm.
think, if I'm not mistaken, I think if Bramble uses his ultimate and Predator casts Stonehide, I think he is immune from the slow. Is that correct? Or please do correct me if I'm
The
wrong.
slow,
The slow on the wall, on the Bramble wall,
the
to get the
slow,
move.
I'm actually not sure about from the wall, but I'm pretty sure that the restrain goes through shrunken or magic immunity. So I
Right.
think that if the wall is hitting Pred, that he cannot leap through the duration of being hit by that wall. I believe that's how it works. So the Pred pick is quite interesting. With that being said, he has a couple of targets, being the Bramble and the Pebbles, where he can sit on those high health pool targets and really just kind of keep his health sustained, if that makes sense. But I think the matchup between Artillery and Pred is kind of interesting because Artillery is going to be sitting like very far away, right? He's going to be poking in the damage with the LRMs, sitting behind his team, which in this case is going to be a Bramble and a Pebbles. I wonder if it's going to become an issue for Pred to get to Artillery. Do you feel like that could be like a problem that they might have, or do you feel like the Predator will maybe kind of build items to kind of remedy that and get himself into the back line and kind of sit on that artillery. Because
Um,
if artillery is taking
cool.
focus fire, he's gonna be like really in trouble. I feel like.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I think when it comes to artillery against Pred, the first thing I think about is the boots they're going to collect. So artillery is usually known for going for quite a mobile build. So
Hmm.
he's likely to build the ghost marchers, increase his movement speed. Possibly go for. I have seen artillery players go for a tablet. I doubt it's likely this game. I don't think he really needs it, and I think he needs to go for more damage-based items and farming-based items. But I could see him becoming quite mobile, perhaps going for an assassin shroud at some stage later on. And I think, as you say, Pred is going to have quite a difficult time to really focus him. But then you look at heroes on the kind of back line with the lodestone and his PK stun ultimate, Calamity with his ultimate having such a great range to it. I think killing artillery won't be the biggest of issues. Some of that comes down to Andromeda too, obviously with her swap and everything that she offers into the team fight.
Lodestone
But
has
no,
no
I do
rocket
think
drill here. He's taking a lot of damage. Sorry to cut you off, but they
that's
actually
fine.
decide to stop chasing him. He's gonna hit the level 2 here in one more creep. He's playing this a little risky, but I think it's gonna end up working out here. He's got the health potion. Yeah, continue.
No, that was to be fair, that was pretty much us coming to the end. So I just overall I think Predator's going to have a hard time focusing down the artillery. But I look at the lineups in general, and I think Hellborn will probably have enough to take down artillery in the end, as it is, because their spells and their heroes and their initiation is just so strong. Um, but then you can think about Empath with her ability to obviously grant Predator that movement speed buff, the ability to get the life drain onto artillery too, which could end up stunning him. That could also give that presence to really keep him.
Lodestone, he might go down here. The LR Rems, and there's the final auto attack revenge on, but he got caught with the rocket drill down. That range from artillery is pretty nasty, even with the level 1 special ammunition giving that bonus 150 cast range. Meanwhile, mid lane Calamity's tanking a creep wave here. I've been watching Snooki as he got that early bottle. He skipped the any kind of regen, just had a couple minor totems, got that bottle before 2 minutes, and he was really
Oh,
putting the
top lane,
pressure on
top lane.
Pebbles. Yep. Bramble, he's got the creep wave here. His empath, he's gonna go down. That's a big play coming in from File there on the Bramble as he gets the kill. So
Yeah, I
2-0
was
start here for Donkey Kong.
sorry for interrupting you on the on the contrast. Yeah, I was quite surprised that Bramble did pick up the kill. I thought Empath had enough, and I think Empath probably thought the same. But no, I think that's going to make quite a big difference to his suicide lane now. He's got his level 3. He does have the ability to perhaps get some XP from the pool camp. And no, I'm not the biggest expert on Bramble as a hero. I don't know what you think about it. Do you tend to play it much at all yourself?
I I do not play any Bramble, I can't say. But I keep looking back at this ball lane, the damage from artillery onto Lodestone. They've almost brought him down once again. And this is a really tanky hero. He even, we talked about it, he skilled the plates level 1, so he was really sitting in the lane kind of soaking the right clicks for the experience. But artillery carry here in game number 1, so that's already exciting. We see a missed Pebble stun here in the mid lane. Andromeda is here though, and this might be enough damage as the tower also going to switch targets there and give him some assistance, so they will finally punish the Calamity, who's been playing very, very aggressive this game.
Yeah, I'm still trying to think as to why he pushed up so far so early on. When you've got the double stun from Pebbles and Andromeda, then if
I
a
think
Luna.
Bramble might be dead here. The Toxin Claw slows from the Predator, being a little bit too much there. I'm actually a little surprised that File didn't choose to TP out. Perhaps the Link stun coming back off cooldown did deter him from that, but they had the damage with the slow there from Predator, really helping with those extra auto attacks in.
I tend to ask you this question a lot, and I want to ask it again. But if we were to kind of go into that mid to late game transition, what are your thoughts on artillery as a hero as he goes into late game? Do you think? I mean, I'm kind of thinking that he's going to go into that sort of Dawnbringer, perhaps a Grimoire route, with an Assassin Shroud into Genjuro sort of item build.
Yes.
Perhaps we could see a Doombringer if it gets into the ridiculous stages of the game. What do you?
Ooh,
Sorry
I
to
missed that kill completely. I was actually
continue.
looking at artillery, but I want to say it was just a similar thing as the last time, just Pred pounding in the right clicks with the link in the wall. And he doesn't have an escape, so really hard for him to evade. Now Pred's got the Ghost Marchers as well. Mid lane, we see the Crystals come out on the Calamity. She's going to fall here most likely. The bottle sips and the power supply. Snooki calculating that one correctly. He even avoids the power throw, and they're going to turn this around. Luna is most likely going to fall now as well. The humiliation, as the announcer said. I am very surprised that Snooki made it out alive there. That was some nice juking coming out, as well as some very,
Clutch power
very
supply.
big timed battle sips into power supply there.
Yeah, so just with the comments
Artillery, right?
about artillery, what do you think about artillery as a late game hero? Do you think he does have that potential to really take over a game, or do you think he kind of suffers at the hands of Predator, Calamity, Empath, etc.?
We'll hold that thought as we're seeing Bramble dive once again here. A couple more auto attacks on the Pred. They're even almost at the tier 2 tower. Now we have artillery porting in with the homing missile. There's the LRM, so they do punish the dive coming out. So artillery getting the kill on the opposing carry. Big gold per GPM boost, excuse me, 373 gold. Uh, very, very nice port in from artillery there to capitalize. But I think artillery, he's kind of similar to a Flint. He does lots of damage. He sits very far away, and he's really hard to push against. Like when you think about base pushing or like base defense, artillery's got to be up there with one of the best base defending heroes because he can just kill a creep wave so quickly, and it forces you to either have to use your body to tank the tower to push, which puts you in a vulnerable position, or you have to kind of jump him and remove his effectiveness. So I think to answer your question, as we see a Shadow Storm make channel here, this could be a kill on the artillery. Is it going to be enough damage? Yes, it is. That's a level 4 head smash coming out from Lodestone, and he will most likely fall here, but he got what he came for, which was that kill in artillery. So good kill coming out there from the Lodestone. But I think he is a really scary carry once the late game kind of rolls around.
I mean, I think Artillery is a great hero. I think, like Soul Reaper, is very underrated because
Yeah.
you look at Artillery and Soul Reaper, you think, okay, these are sort of mediocre heroes. Sometimes they perform incredibly well, sometimes they don't. But I think they have so much potential in them. I think, as you say, the best point that you made then was about the fact it has such a strong, defending capability, and it
Hmm.
has, a unique skill set where, like Flint, it has incredible attack range. One thing I wanted to point out is Predator, he did go for the Ghost Marches as opposed to the Steam Boots, which I think is quite rare nowadays. Um,
Okay.
so I find that quite surprising in the sense that it's going to
Yeah, we see
probably...
a wall come out. He's going to go for the TP, but too much damage as well as the TP stopper from the rocket drill there. So he had a good start with that kill, that initial kill on the empath, but since then it's kind of fallen to pieces a little bit for File here. Unfortunately, falling for the 4th time. We have Hasted Pebbles here in the mid lane. Here comes the Chrysalis. A little bit surprised there, no toss back onto the Aluna, but here comes the Sunder's Vault, and Aluna might also fall as well. That's going to be 2 kills going the way of Hex as they get 1 on the Calamity and 1 on the Monarch. They're not done just yet. They are diving here on the Andromeda. Calamity is here. There's a crippling pollen stun, and the dragons will most likely take him down as Monarch actually gets the double tap in the end. So Hex kind of coming online here as they pick up, I think that was 4 kills in a row. Some excellent team coordination coming out from their side to kind of take that 5-5 hero kill lead up to 9-5 now as they take a almost 3,000 gold and 3,500 experience lead.
Yeah, it's looking very good for them. The point I was kind of mentioning about Predator and his boots,
Mhm.
he's decided that he thinks that going for mobility and a bit of extra attack damage is going to be more useful. Um, I'm a little bit surprised. I thought he would go for Steam Boots this game because I think if Empath is to jump him, he can get enough speed from that and combined with his ultimate as well. He should be able to chase heroes down. But I mean, what do you think about it when it comes to playing Preds? Do you think there is that potential for the Ghost Marcher build, or do you think Steam Boots just makes more sense with him being a strength hero?
I think there's good points for both. I think the Ghost Marchers just will really allow him to chase his targets. And he does get attack speed and attack damage, which is important from Empath's ultimate. So he will get a little bit of both. So he will get boosted in that sense. But I do like it for being able to chase down targets.
No, I'm with you. I think even though it is a little bit of a surprise, I can see why he's chosen to do so. And as we kind of mentioned that point briefly earlier about the fact that Calamity is going, sorry, not Calamity, Artillery is going to be quite mobile,
We
as
have
there's a
Sunder's Vault possibility coming out here. Lodestone ports in with the Veiled Rot, but here's the homing missile, and Calamity, the Chrysalis will not save him in the end. We're going to get a swap out onto a Luna in the background. Pebbles, though, he's going to get Michael Jordan leaped on by the Predator, and he will go down. And now it's also Empath in the front lines as he did not get a chance to use his As-1 on a teammate. Perhaps they were just a little bit too far of range from him. So he goes down. It ends up being actually a 2-for-1 in favor of the Legion side here. So they get the kill on the Calamity, but they also get the kill on Pebbles, so it ends up being not the worst exchanges. Both the mid laners do fall. And Pebbles, he's only sitting on 280 GPM, so he's had a pretty slow start here to game number 1, as we're 11 minutes in and he's still quite a ways off his portal key still.
uh, I'm loving the Michael Jordan leap.
Oh yeah.
Never heard that term before, but I think it does apply quite well to Predator. So yeah, definitely cracked me up that one. Um, yeah, what was I thinking? No, I'm looking at Artillery. He has gone for Bad
Brass
Threads,
Knuckles.
brass Knuckles, yeah. So obviously with the kind of stats boost, and the
Big
movement
dive
speed
coming in
boost.
here from Zanuki. He's going for this Aluna kill. He almost gets it, but now he's in a very vulnerable spot. He's got Lowstone here to back him up, though. Here come the yellow rims from Artillery, but Calamity, she's a little too fast from that cleansing wind from Monarch, saving him just in the nick of time, and they kill the Pebble. So the dive actually paying off here as they go very, very deep here behind enemy lines. And there was no homing missile up for about 20 seconds there, so unfortunately not able to use that. But they're still hanging around the area here. This is the real Andromeda. Here comes the Comet Stun. The Chrysalis comes out. Shatterstorm is being channeled on the Artillery. Here comes the Rocket Drill, and Artillery will be no more as Monarch is taking the brunt of the auto attacks here from Andromeda. Will she be able to make the escape? No, she will not. Another Comet Stun comes out, and they trade the Monarch for the Artillery. So another favorable exchange here coming out for Hex. As while this is going on, so much space being created for the Predator, who he's put some damage in the tier 2 tower already, picks up the early Thunderclaw on top of the Hungry Spirit. Do you think we'll see the Elder Parasite picked up here?
I don't see any reason why it won't be picked up.
Okay.
You think about the other lifesteal builds, Abyssal Skull, Whispering Helm. Both of those have never really seen on Predator. So, combined with the fact that Elders was changed in a positive way, I think that is going to be a lot more likely.
Rocket Drill in the mid lane here as the tower is about to fall. Luna gets dove on. They get the tower as well. And the goalie continues to expand here for Hex as they're kind of doing this without their Predator as well. So only committing 4 heroes to these early engagements and coming out on top of them as well. Predator now has the Elder Parasite picked up. Do you think we'll see the Hyper Crown following this up, or do you think he'll need to go into some kind of defensive item to follow up the Elders?
Um, I mean, if it was any other player but 4, I would say yes, most likely. But I can almost guarantee it's going to be something like a Dawnbringer or even a Grimoire of Power. Because I think if he's to get the Grimoire of Power, I think he's probably going to be close to unkillable. You combine the Stonehide effect into Grimoire. It gives him kind of two disjointing spells.
Swap
And
comes
it
out
just
here in the jungle. LRMs, auto attack from Pebbles as well. Pretty straightforward kill there on the Monarch.
But yeah, no, I was just kind of saying I think Predator is going to be extremely hard to kill if he was to go for the Grimoire. And known for it's something we're quite likely to see. He is miles ahead of the Legion in terms of GPM. Slasky is the highest with the artillery at 350 at the moment. So I think that he could choose to be pretty greedy if he wants to. So we could see a Grimoire, we could see Hyper Crown, but I think Grimoire is probably more likely. But I do think that when he picks up the Elders, which I think, sorry, he has got the Elders now, but with the Elders Parasite combined with Empath sitting inside him, I think he's going to shred heroes very quickly because his attack speed and his attack damage is going to be incredibly high. And he's going to be so mobile. You know, you look at the boots pickup, you look at Empath and his movement speed bonus. He's going to kill Legion heroes extremely quickly. And then if you combine the damage from Lodestone and and Calamity on top of that, I think Legion are going to have a really tough time when it comes to the team fights.
Yep, I agree. I think Predator's in a really good spot. He's got 1,600 gold saved up. We'll get our answer, I think, in the next couple of minutes what he's going to go for. But Haystron on the Calamity with Empath inside her. They have an idea somebody's down here, but they decide not to go for a dive as that could possibly backfire. But Artillery, is it surprising to you that he's only farming 360 gold per minute, or is it more so the fact that he's had a couple of deaths here? The Predator only on the one death,
Um,
able to be about 200 GPM higher than the Artillery so far.
I think as he is a farming core, I am a little bit surprised. I thought he would be closer to the 400 to 450 range.
Okay.
However, as you make the point, I think the second death has had a bit of impact. I don't think because Hellborn have been roaming around the jungle quite frequently. It's been
Wards are
difficult.
coming in here. The Shatterstorm was channeled, but the LRM's deterring that portal key initiation. And here comes the Rocket Drill stunning in. They will get the kill on the Empath, and now Lowstone will die as well as the Calamity. A huge team fight coming out here for Donkey Kong. They take a 3-for-0 team fight, and they had portal key on their Pebbles here. I believe he started that one off with the kill onto Empath, if I'm not mistaken. But they're not done just yet. He's got a double damage. They're looking at this Predator. And Fa very wisely expects a jump to happen there. He doesn't even farm the creeps in the tower, so playing that very appropriately. Falling back into the jungle there, where he actually picks up the Firebrand. So you might be right about that Dawnbringer as a potential follow-up item here to that Elder Parasite.
I have.
Would it surprise you to see him go a Geometer's Bane over something like a Dawnbringer?
Yeah, I mean, I was just kind of thinking that, and I was thinking whether Geometer's Bane could be effective in this game. I don't think it's going to be quite as useful as a Dawnbringer because
Yeah, I agree.
Dawnbringer just gives so much in terms of the slow. You know, it gives. Oh, as Pebbles jumps.
Yep, he's gonna maybe do the toss back here onto Andromeda. That's gonna be a quick kill. Well executed there as they, I believe he was countering a ward there, so he did end up countering the ward, but it did cost him his life. Now in the top lane, we got Shatterstorm, channeled, Bramble will melt, and Aluna. She will be looking to turn, but it's only Andromeda here with the assistance. They will fall back.
Yeah, so with the Dawnbringer on Predator, I think it offers a little bit more than Geometers. I mean, Geometers, yes, it's great. However, he has Stone Height. You know, he's probably going to build a Grimoire Power later. So I could definitely see Dawnbringer being slightly more useful. You know, he could surprise me. He could choose to go for the Geometers for the disjoint, the extra, you know, the extra attack speed and everything. But no, we'll have to wait and see for that one. But no, I think if I look at Predator against Artillery, obviously Artillery is now at 450 GPM. He himself has built a light brand, so he's likely to go into a Grimoire of Power himself, which gives him the ability to remove quite a few of Hellborn's spells. I think there is some potential, combined with the Andromeda Aurora, of actually killing Pred. I think they could have enough, because even though he does have the Ghost Marches, he is extremely mobile. If he is to get ultimated, you know, if he is to take a lot of physical damage from Legion, I think Legion could actually kill him. But, you know, I think it's going to be interesting to see how Slasky builds and how he chooses to go into, you know, perhaps more of a carrying item route. But no, to kind of put the question on you, you know, what do you think we're going to see in Artillery? Do you think we could see that? Oh, the question's answered. He has gone for a Searing Light, which means that he's going to be building the Dawnbringer. Do you like Dawnbringer on Artillery? Do you like having that slow, or do you think that Grimoire could have been a bit more useful for keeping him alive?
I think the Dawnbringer is fine, and from what I've seen from Slaske, as I've seen him play this hero a couple of times now, he tends to like the Shroud as his follow-up item, and I don't see any reason why that wouldn't be the case for this match as well. I'm thinking if he would need something like a Shrunken Head this game or not. As we see a Pebbles jump here on the Lodestone, the LRMs will take him out, so they have the burst damage to bring down the Lodestone. Here comes the Sunder as well, though, locking down Bramble in place. Will they be able to bring him down with the assistance of the tower? There's the swap from Andromeda, and they will look to turn this one around. Now, Predator is here, though. Here comes the LRMs from downtown, and Predator, he's already half life. Here comes the Bramble wall. Predator cannot leap. As you can see, he does buy himself the distance, and the Stonehide will now wear off. Will they get another Pebbles initiation as the Calamity Firebomb was preventing that portal key in the background. Hasted Calamity still. But both the teams will reset, and it looks like neither side will re-engage. So it ends up being only Lodestone who falls as the swap saving Bramble there, coming in very clutch.
Yeah, momentum seems to be shifting towards Legion now, which I'm actually quite surprised about because I thought with Pred and his start to the game, with the way that he's been farming, I thought they could have taken this game quite quickly. But it seems like Donkey Kong actually put out a really kind of good defensive, passive play style, which when they're taking their team fights together, they're working out really nicely because they're gaining towers just after that, which gives them quite a lot.
Here comes the Lodestone Rocket Drill. He's got the Shadow Storm pop. He will jump in kind of recklessly here with no follow-up. Gotta say, that's a little surprising coming out from Hex. There was no follow-up there at all. Very, very questionable decision to jump in there.
I'm just gonna say yes, Asaf being Asaf, creating space for his team and doing the things that we least expect.
So,
but no, sorry, go
so
on.
one thing I wanted to point out was they got that team fight started with a jump on the Lodestone. With the Lodestone being dead, they didn't really have any initiation outside of the Sunder's Vault, so I think the fact that they chose to kill the Lodestone was really important there, as it really allowed them to kind of just control the team fight so well. And, even though they were in about a 4,000 gold and 6,000 experience deficit, they kind of took a pretty handed team fight there in the bot lane. I think it came down to that pickoff on the Lodestone.
No, yeah, exactly. I don't disagree with you at all. I'm just kind of thinking now, are Legion going to try and go towards Conquer at some point? I mean, with Hellborn and how they're spaced out in the top lane, obviously they're not going to take it as of yet. But I think if they were to win the next team fight, I think if they were to take Kongor, they would probably be slightly ahead.
We're going to see a jump here come up. Pebbles gets his barbed armor off. Here comes Predator with the leap. Pebbles, is he going to fall? Yes, he will. Andromeda, she did not get in range for the swap. Donkey Kong is kind of split up here as two players were in the base and three are going to go down. I think they were not expecting Hex to initiate there, and they get punished severely as they are even looking to dive past the tier 2 tower to find artillery in the backlines, but there's a retaliation from Hex. They get 3 kills out of nowhere, and they might even turn this into a Kongor steal. But, so one thing I wanted to mention was that the goal per minute between artillery and Pred, it kind of keeps inching closer and closer together. We've seen Pred, I think at one point in the game where he was about 200 GPM higher, or almost 200 GPM higher than the artillery. But, as the game has kind of gone on, it's inched closer and closer together as artillery is now almost at 500 gold per minute. But with that being said, Pred has still increased. He is now over 600 gold per minute, sitting at 615. So not bad by all means for Hex.
Not bad at all. I'm looking at Pred's items. He still held on to the Toxin Claws despite having the slow from the Frostburn. I'm quite surprised. I would like him to sell it because I don't believe. Are you aware if Toxin Claws does stack with the slow from Frostburn or Dawnbringer, or how
I
does that
believe
kind of?
they all work independently.
Yeah.
I think they should work.
Okay. Yeah. I think we'd kind of see that being sold at this stage of the game, but he's chosen to keep on to that, which is quite interesting. But no, as you say about the GPM, it's a good point. I was thinking the same. Artillery has crept up quite nicely. Taking some kills, pushing some towers, triple stacks in the Ancients, etc. He did not die in the last team fight, which is obviously quite important because he's kept his GPM quite high. So I think with, as you say, knowing him as a player and what he likes to kind of do with the hero, I think Shroud would be a fantastic pickup because it would give him that Kaiser potential and the potential to go into team fights and set them up and easily, pick up kills with how high his base damage is. So, I'll be quite happy to see him build a Shroud as
So
his next choice.
yeah, so sorry I didn't mean to interrupt you there. He does not finish the Dawnbringer on Pred, he goes for a Shroud. As we might not get too long to talk about that. I think Donkey Kong might defend this. Okay, no, the tower does get given up for free here. So Hex takes another tier 2 tower, as that I believe was their fifth tower of the match. So they got two in the top lane, two now in the bot, and one in the mid lane. So they have one more tower kill over Donkey Kong. But are you? What are your thoughts on the Shroud pickup here?
Um, I'm a little bit surprised by it. I didn't think it was going to be conventional for to go for the Shroud. I'm sure you probably thought something similar. I thought we could have seen the Dawnbringer, especially after the Firebrand.
Or even the Hyper
Um,
Crown was
or even,
something
yeah,
I was expecting him to complete at some point.
yeah, exactly. Um, but no, he's chosen to kind of be a bit unconventional. I think the Shroud is quite nice because it just makes him very slippery. So, you look at his mobility, his ability to obviously jump into team fights, escape with the Shroud. It just makes him a lot harder to kill. And it also gives him that potential as well with Empath inside him to kind of go into the woods, pick off one or two heroes, TP out, and kind of do those kind of slippery initiation things that we often see from carriers that like to kind of set up kills. So it is a little bit surprising, but I can understand his reasoning and why he wants to do it because I think he is looking to be even harder to kill, and to have that factor where he can set things up and cause destruction in certain places.
So at the end of the draft, I asked you the question: would Pred need to build some mobility item to kind of get himself toward the artillery, who's going to sit very very far in the back, away from the team fights? Was this the route you were thinking, or like
I,
is this the reason for why he built the shot to try to get to that artillery? As
I I
he
think
might
it
run
is.
into him
Yeah,
here, but he chooses to fall back. So
I certainly think it is. I think, as you say, it is to try and get to artillery in the back line. But I think also, the second reason is to kind of give him that jump where he can go invisible. He can jump onto someone, let's say, like a Luna, Andromeda, and
yeah,
disperse them very quickly. So I think it could work in both directions. But I think your point is probably more likely because he is thinking about Slasky as a player. He's played with him for, many games recently, and I'm sure that he's aware of how Slasky likes to position himself. So I think
yeah,
it's almost like a counter to the player as well. If you kind of get my point.
yep.
Um, but no, I think yeah, what you raised initially is definitely what makes a lot of sense. So I'm gonna
Whew.
certainly go with that.
Lodestone, did you see that bottom lane with the portal key right before Luna gets the stun animation off? That was clutch timing there for Mazov, as
I I missed it, but
he makes three players chase him for a good 10 to 15 seconds. It's gonna make space for Empath to counter push the top lane, as well as well, Kongor just respawned, so Donkey Kong might have to turn their attention toward the Kongor. Um, Or do you think this is a fight that they are not able to take? They are in a 12,000 gold deficit right now. You know, I didn't even realize that Hex had built such a large lead. This game actually feels much closer, I feel like, than the gold and experience lead suggests. But we have Shroud on the Predator. The initiation comes from the Calamity as well. They get the kill onto Luna to start things off. Here comes a Rocket Chill on the Bramble. Shadowstorm is being channeled, but there's a toss back from the Pebbles in the background. Wall is down here, and they get the kill onto Bunny Lover on that Andromeda. And now Chrysalis will keep Monarch alive in the background, but Bramble will fall, and this fight is going well in favor of Hex here, as the Barbed Armor is popped from Pred, but he is essentially all by himself as artillery has fully retreated here, and nobody ends up dying from the side of Hex, so both teams having the ward of sight there, the vision was there, but the high ground advantage coming into play there from the side of Hex. But to go back to the point, did you actually realize that the lead was this large, or or am I in the wrong here in saying the game felt a lot closer than it kind of was?
yeah, I think it felt quite close up until the point that they took the fight top lane and Legion lost three heroes for
Three
it.
players,
I think
yeah,
three players, yeah. I think once that occurred, then the lead was quite significant because it kind of, kept the momentum in Hellborn's favor. Um, and then, with that fight just then, a massive team fight, they're going to go and take Kongor, which is going to boost things a little bit more. But I think when it came to that team fight, I do believe Bunny Lover on Andromeda placed the ward a little bit late. So I think that Legion were kind of lacking a little bit of vision in that fight. So Luna was unfortunately picked up very quickly. Predator when using the Shrouds, he can basically one or two shot those support heroes, especially because they're very low on armor. Um, And no, it was just really well played from Hellborn, and I think a lot of that came down to that wall of sight that we can see from Dude on top of the cliff, which just gave them all the kind of vision they needed to secure those early kills. And one thing to note as well is that Artillery did use the ultimate onto, I can't remember who it was, um, but I don't think he killed anybody as quickly as he wanted to because he was trying to
Okay.
burst down the Monarch and somebody else. So it was quite interesting to see how he used the ultimate quite quickly, as opposed to saving it for the Predator and trying to pick him off with, some heroes like Pebbles, for example.
Okay. And I think we haven't really touched on it too much, but Calamity has been 500 gold per minute for like the last few minutes. She's been kind of quietly having a really large impact in this game as well. As it's mostly been about Pred and Artillery, but Calamity kind of being the X factor here. Because if you compare the Pebbles, the GPMs are just very different. As we see, even a very defensive build from Pebbles. Typically, when we think of Pebbles, we think of, the spell shards, the staff, the possible shrunken head. But he's gone for the barbed armor here, so even a little bit of a different item route on the Pebbles.
I think it's probably the first time I've ever seen Barb's armor on Pebbles. I mean, I do completely like it, as we've discussed in previous casts that we've done. We've talked about the Barb changes and how strong it is. Um, I think they're kind of lacking this team items though. You think of things such as Soul's Bulwark, Tablet of Commands, for example. Those items can often change team fights in their
Oh,
favor because
Predator, he's gonna be in some trouble, and that's gonna be a quick and easy kill. Bramble might also get caught here, but no, he gets tableted to safety. He will be just fine. So they lose the one player, and this might be. Is this gonna drop a token? I believe it. I believe it will, right? They just did theirs about 2 minutes ago. I think they have the time window here to. Got 44 seconds for Kongor Slayer. So, do you give the token to Calamity or do you give it to Pred here? It looks like they're going to give it to Pred as he sells an item. I think that's the correct decision since he will most likely be the tower sieger, right?
yeah, he's gonna be in the front line. He's gonna be pushing quite quickly, probably slightly spaced ahead of a few of his teammates. So I think it does make a lot of sense. I have to go back on my comments earlier because I did mention about how Legion were kind of lacking tablets and things like that.
Yeah, they
I
have
have
a
noticed
pair of them.
Andromeda. Yeah, they have a few, so that's my misjudgment. Um, so I like that, but I do.
Around the rosy here with Bramble. Here comes the Shatterstorm. They're gonna go for the TP. Can dude get in range? Yes, he can. He stops the TP, and that's gonna mean a dead Bramble. Dude coming in
What
clutch there with the crippling pollen.
I don't know if you think the same as me, but I think with Lowstone, it always amazes me how much damage he can do with so little items. Do you agree with me there? I find the hero so strong, even though he's only got things like a PK and a Void Talisman.
Oh
He
my
doesn't.
god, Pebbles just melted to Calamity. That was with the barbed, I think, even being used there. But yeah, I agree. I think his damage is sometimes very surprising. Is that the word? Unexpected. Like he
Unexpected.
kind of just like bursts you down, and you kind of underestimate it. I feel like sometimes. And I guess that's
Yeah.
the nature of the mixed damage and the armor removal. Fred will die here with the token. Artillery still has his homing missile, but
He's
he's
gonna
gonna
go back
go
in.
in for the tower. Yep, he's gonna pop the stone hide. They'll probably look to reset and wait for that to come back up, and then Pred will feel much safer to re-engage with the magic immunity up.
Artillery's chosen to save 4,300, which is obviously a lot. I would like him to spend it.
I think he wants Genjuro plus buyback, if I'm not mistaken. I think at this point, I think they need offensive items on artillery just due to being so far behind. I think if he goes for defensive items, they will be lacking too much damage because they don't have that second core that Hex has with the Calamity. So they need him to kind of. At this point, it might be Doombringer, but yeah, we're gonna see the Genjuro there. So maybe now he'll save up for a Doombringer, and they'll just kind of go for the all-in. Um, but at the same time, they might not feel that they are down by as much as the stats suggest. So I think it'll kind of depend on where they feel they're at in the game and what artillery will go for next. Um, Pred, by the way, picks up Demonic. I was kind of wondering as I saw him pulling 4,000 gold earlier with that token what he was going to go for. Do you like the Demonic since he's going up against that artillery? I feel like that's
Yep.
oh, he's gonna get dusted here. There's the jump from Predator. Do they have the burst to lock him down? But yes, they do. The stun comes in to follow up from the Aluna, and they burst on Pred. So that just goes to show you when they can get the jump on him, they can bring him down before he gets the Stonehide off. Now, with that being said, there was no Monarch here. There was no Empath to kind of support him with those storms and Cleansing Wind as well. So he kind of went in a little bit recklessly there, but at the same time, it was great. A great catch coming out from Donkey Kong, and it's stuff like that. If they can do that a couple more times, that they could possibly get themselves back in this game, um, with Artillery
Yeah.
picking up some more damage. But it's a pretty steep uphill climb, I think, at this point that they have to kind of overcome in order to kind of make. I don't want to call it a miracle by all means, but generally when you're down by over 20,000 gold and 30 plus thousand experience, it's generally not going to be a good outcome. Swap going to stop the TP there from Calamity, and this could be another kill. And this would be, that's another important kill that they pick off, as the rest of the team is at the base here, kind of pressuring the tower, but they do get the one kill onto Andromeda. Actually, looks like Snooky took him down before he ended up falling, so he did make the best out of a bad situation there, getting the one kill.
I I love how Dude and Chris are just split pushing with support heroes that have Tablet and Storm Spirit. It's just it's so fun to watch. You know, you don't see any players tend to do that really. And as we saw, you know, two cores were picked off, Calamity, Prez both taken out. So it turned out to be quite a negative thing for them. Going
Artillery's
back to
here
your
with the
point,
Shroud. He's leading the front lines. There's the jump from Pebbles. The homing missile as well, the LRMs, and Will Lodestone, he's going to get stormed up. Is he going to be able to make the escape? He pops the Void, but there's the power throw. And, you know, that doesn't work versus Void. The TPs are... One's going to make it out, but Monarch, he's not going to be the same. So, meanwhile, this is going on. Pred's in the base. Four-shotting the friggin' Andromeda. They're trying to catch him. Here comes the poor man's portal key with the Pebbles toss. They have the stun, and Predator, will he get locked down here is the question. He is going to have the Stonehide coming back up. But, ooh, there's the dust. He gets a lucky haste spawn. The Stonehide will remove that dust from himself as well.
I think if he was to die there, that could have almost been a throw. So risky. I mean, you don't want to kind of see your carry go all in on his own, especially when there's four teammates that are going to chase you at the end. But no, well played from him. He, with the Shroud, we've kind of seen how slippery he is, how difficult he is to catch combined with his move speed. So I think he has built correctly this game. Going back to your point about a few minutes ago about the Demonic, I do
Yeah.
really like it. Not just for artillery, but for Andromeda too. I think
Yes.
the minus armor is obviously so effective, especially as it goes into this stage of the game. And I think that, you know, with the attack speed buff, not only for him, but you think about how it's going to buff Calamity too. I think it's going to be really useful, especially in those 5v5s. I was also going to say, I think combined with his elders, he's going to be attacking incredibly quickly as the conclusion of your team fight. No, there's not. But no, I'm looking at how fast he can attack with Demonic, Elders, and Empath inside him, and I think it's going to be almost 2.5 attacks per second, which is going to rip to shreds, you know, quite a few heroes in Legion. So Demonic I do really like.
Here's the Bramble Wall coming out. It's going to lock down Lodestone and the Pred from getting their escapes off. Here comes the homing missile, but it's cleansing winded off immediately. Artillery is going to be a little bit sad about that. We got Invis on the Pebbles here. Do they have the vision? It doesn't look like it. He's scouting the way here. They might look to get the jump on the Predator as he shrouds in. Now Andromeda's in some trouble. The Shadow Storm going to hit him. Here comes the lead from Predator, and Andromeda will fall. Now Bramble, he pops the barbed armor, but they don't care, man. They just right-click him down, and he falls anyway. Now Artillery, he is going to fall. It is a disaster for Donkey Kong. The buyback comes in from Artillery as he still has 3,400 gold saved up on top of that buyback, so a lot of gold being pulled here from Slaske, and they are still 5 alive on the side of Donkey Kong. but two remain, or excuse me, on Hex, and two remain dead on the side of Donkey Kong. Here comes the jump from Pebbles onto the Calamity. Lodestone will use the rocket drill and artillery. They're doing a split push here, so they have to choose which Raxes they want to defend, as the Predator is in the mid lane here, chunking down the Raxes with that demonic. These Raxes will fall, and they will fall back with the one set of Rax being taken out. So what do you think, Alex? Does he need to go Doombringer? Because I think I'm at that point where I think they need the Doombringer on artillery now.
I think it's Doombringer or Riot. I
I
don't
think
see.
it's
I don't.
Doombringer or Riot time.
Yeah, I don't see how they're gonna turn without a Doombringer. Pebbles has got 3k, so he's going to be buying something soon as well, I'd imagine. Although I'm not sure what he's going to buy, unless he just wants to buy back. But Doombringer, yeah, I mean, I can't think of the
You
cost
should
of it
have
off the top of my
seen
head.
your
Is it
face.
5,800?
It went.
6,000 something? But no, I
Top
think with Doombringer, it's probably going to
1,200
be the saving
clowns.
grace.
After
because
this
I'll
scrim
walk
ends,
practice
be
very,
sure
very
to check
quickly
my
with their
stream.
damage.
Tune in to
And
see
it will
me
just give them
smack
some more
virgins,
potential to
or
defend
losing
with the
hard to
items,
them and
so
blaming the lag.
yeah, we could be
Me
seeing
and
it.
Snooky are best
I
hunt
can't think of any
players,
other
but the
choices. I think
difference
we need to
is,
take a second
I
step back
don't buy
and start
dog
attacking
items
the
like he
volume over.
does. Fuck the
So yeah, let's
dames.
hope we can see a Doom and see how that turns out.
Sorry, I got a donation in the middle of that,
No, no, you're fine.
and it was in your name.
I'll have to listen to that afterwards.
You will have to listen to that afterwards.
Was it a good?
uh,
Was it a good one?
it was funny. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of missed what you said there because it was a little too loud for me.
It's fine.
But
I was rambling a little bit
was it
anyway,
about
but no,
Doombringer or what was it about?
no, yes.
Oh
Talking
wait,
about
hold that thought.
Doombringer.
We're gonna see the jump here. Pebbles pops the barbed armor. He might end up staying alive actually. Lowstone, he's in the middle of the base with the Shadow Storm. He goes for the TP with the Void Talisman. Here comes the Sunder's Vault from Calamity. The tower in the bot lane does end up falling to Predator, who's attacking the Raxes. He actually gets the full set of Rax. So while this fight was going on, Pred was not even here. So they are just deterring artillery from the fight. And now Predator, he's in the middle of the base. He Michael Jordan leaps one more time with the Stone Knight. He four-shots artillery. He four-shots the Pebbles, and the buybacks are happening from Donkey Kong. Predator is now deep behind the tier 4 towers, and will he be able to hold his ground? He gets tossed back. He's almost in the well, but he's life-stealing. He turns it around. He is going to get a hat trick. He's going to get a quad kill. Will it be an annihilation? No! The Codex comes in from Lowstone. He steals the annihilation. The GGs are called, and Hex will take game number 1. Fa was this close to an annihilation, BKB, and Aza came in with the zing at the very last second to snipe out that annihilation.
Oh man, what a fight! Was not expecting Pred to do that much damage, but we saw the potential of the hero there, combined with what he built. It was crazy. Ripping to shreds so many heroes so quickly, with a few Michael Jordan leaps, as you quite nicely described. And then Asaf being Asaf, I thought he was going to be kind enough to let him get the annihilation, but he thought otherwise and gave us a bit of entertainment at the end. But no, really, really good game, really good fun to watch. I liked the picks coming out from both teams, but I think in the end, just Predator and the way that he scaled with his items, I think it was just too much. I'm quite interested by the creep stats. I've just noticed artillery had more creep kills than Predator, which I'm actually no, sorry, just four less actually. I should rephrase that. But I'm quite surprised that he didn't manage to keep up. So yeah, well played to him. But you look at Calamity with 400 as well compared to Legion, who only have 170 on Pebbles, 110 on Bramble. I think Hellborn also farmed their resources a lot better. And in the end, the Predator was just doing too much. So yeah, GG.
Yeah, so we saw the artillery versus predator matchup with a calamity backing up the predator there in game number 1. So not our usual carry versus carry matchup, but a pretty exciting one, I think, safe to say. We didn't get to see a Doombringer, so I'm a little bit sad about that. But perhaps in the future, if we continue to see artillery picks, we could see some Doombringer action. But that'll, I guess, wrap up game number 1 here.